What's up, everybody? Brandon with Grizzlyworks RC. In this episode of the SCX10-II build, I'm going to be going over a bit of a suspension update and then a wheel and tire update. Originally, when I started building this, I went with these Injora 92mm shocks. They were way too stiff out of the box. I cut the springs. Once the springs were cut, they were able to move with the weight of the truck. However, they just started pouring oil out of them. I went through, redid all the O-rings, and nothing helped. They constantly pour oil. So realized at that point that I was going to have to change out what I was doing, and decided to go with the Racing Desert Lizards with 100mm travel. The cool thing with these is I can set the truck up in a forced droop setup, which is what I plan on doing, but I'm not going 100% full forced droop. Forced droop, if you look at this one's set up slightly forced. So if you look, the suspension can actually travel the opposite direction of what you'd think. So this one is set up with a slight forced droop and then more sprung setup. My plan is to do the opposite of this. I'm going to go with a more forced droop with a slightly sprung setup. Alright, so I've got these filled up, got them, have oil in them. I've checked them, make sure I have full compression, and I have nice smooth motion on both of them. And so now it's time to start getting them installed on the truck. Now looking at this, that Jeep is sitting a bit higher in the rear. Problem with that is I don't want the front to go any higher. That's where I want it to sit. But I can't actually drop the back any. It's actually as low as it can go with its current setup. So I had to figure out a solution for that, which comes in the form of these kind of shock mount keys. What they're going to allow me to do is to angle this rear shock a little bit more, just so I can get it a little bit lower. Alright, so for wheels and tires, I went with some Injora bead locks with some BF Goodrich Mud Terrain TA KM3s from Proline. And I ended up having to go with the Predator compound, which was not my first choice, but they're going to have really good grip. The first choice would have been the G8 compound, but they are on back order just about anywhere I could find them. So decided to just get the Predator compound. These are also not the class 1s like I originally planned on running on here. I did actually buy a set of class 1s, and they were way too small. They looked out of place on that with that body. So went with these, which I didn't realize it, but these are actually slightly bigger than the stock tires. So with my setup, these are different front and rear. I do have a little bit more weight on the front wheels than I do on the rear wheels. I'll kind of show you what I ended up going with on here. So they're Injora 1.9s. They have the brass weight inside here on front and rear, which is also a slight hub extension because the hub goes in between there. The other thing I have is in the front wheels, I have the brass inner ring inside there, where in the back it's an aluminum inner ring. I'm also running the Injora soft dual stage foams in here. Zero this out. So front wheels are 390 grams per wheel and tire, and the rear 329 grams. So you got about a 60 gram difference between the front and the rear. So unfortunately with this setup, I can't run these center caps anymore. What I'm going to eventually get is more of like a hub style nut that goes in there, just to make everything look a little bit nicer. It doesn't look the greatest with just that nut and axle end sticking out there. But one of the cool things with this now is with having that extra weight on there, it cycles the suspension, which is nice. So I get a nice droop, and still has a little bit of travel up and down, and then with the bigger tires that gives it a little more travel as well. So let's get the body on here, see what it looks like all put together.